It is Friday the 13th. Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining me for our weekend weather update and the 7-day rain watch outlook. Let's get into it. We've got some heavy showers still coming in off the Tasman Sea, but by the time you're watching this, a lot of them will be easing back. And you can tell that because on the satellite imagery out here over the Tasman, you can just see sort of grey, smudgy cloud. That means that the clouds aren't very high up in the atmosphere, so they're smaller clouds with smaller, lighter showers within them. Where you see the blue and the yellow blobs coming in around the North Island, those are the bigger clouds, the heavier downpours possible, and that's why you're seeing a few of these flashes of lightning that were showing up. People driving to field days this morning, those waking up early in Auckland, there were a few booms of thunder around as that moved on through, a couple up around Northland as well. Low pressure is spinning off the west coast. That is gradually moving northwards and it is falling apart, and high pressure is coming out of Australia. So you can see this here this evening. Here is the big high, like a big bulldozer, slowly moving eastwards, and it's pushing all of this low pressure and the heavy thundery showers with it well out to the east of us. So this last bit of low pressure, I sort of described this in the headline, it's like our high pressure system's got a bit of a puncture in it, and you're going to see that as it moves through in the weekend, that while this big high does come in over large parts of the country, frosts return again to some areas, we will be seeing some showers stuck around the north of New Zealand. And there's also a southerly that's going to come up the country and then sort of drop back down, and then once again next week sort of rises back up again. So we're sort of in that unsettled pattern that you would expect as we are now in the middle of June. So frost risks as we go through the weekend. Saturday, those frosts expand around the South Island's interior. On Sunday, they expand further and they go up into parts of the central North Island around the mountains and ranges as well. But if you see the white around the coastal zones, that means that frosts aren't as likely. Now, they're always possible in certain valleys and things, but for the most part, the frostier weather is inland. Let's have a look at noon Saturday. So here's what I mean by that sort of puncture in the high pressure zone. So this big bubble of high pressure stretches out. It's coming into the South Island. It's even moving into the lower North Island. But you've got this area here of very weak low pressure. It's what we call a trough, when it's just sort of like a pothole in the sky, as I've been saying this week. And so you can end up with a little area of repetitive showers in one area, and then further to the north or south, maybe completely dry. So southerly winds come up all the way to Waikato, maybe even parts of Bay of Plenty by the end of the day. But at the very top of New Zealand, there's still a westerly flow. On Sunday, those westerlies get nudged a little further northwards, mostly only around the far north. And you only have to come down to around the Auckland region, Coromandel Peninsula, and you've got easterlies. So when you've got those sort of different winds around, that's why you're seeing some showers kind of stuck there. And that's what I mean by like a bit of a puncture into this high pressure zone, which is stretching out everywhere else. I've highlighted the blue line only partially because it's pretty messy on the map and a little hard to see. The only reason why I do that is because south of that line is polar air flows, and that's why it is colder for some of you still in the lower part of the South Island. Now, as we go through to Monday, as that high comes on in, it sort of leverages up that colder airflow. So you see it lying over the northern part of New Zealand. North of that, we've still got that area of sort of low pressure. It's enough to make all those showers hang around or cloud. There will still be sunny spells in the mix, but eastern areas, that easterly comes off the sea, and while it might even be northeast in some places, it has southerly origins. So the weather is coming from, or the temperatures are coming from south of New Zealand. So you will feel a little bit cooler in some areas as we go through into the start of next week. And it stays that way here on Tuesday. Look at this, coming in around Tasmania, that's the polar airflow. And then again around this high pressure system, feeling it sort of coming in around the country. Very top of New Zealand still has a few showers. Sorry if this line blocks some of you around Bay of Plenty, Waikato and East Cape. The reason why I highlighted it though is because there's not really much to see underneath it all. Just a couple of showers here, mostly around East Cape. One or two might come up also around the Bay of Islands, that sort of part of Northland. Dry skies in many other areas, and those showers taper off once you get down into about Hawke's Bay. So Wednesday of next week, the blue line gets pushed away because as high pressure moves out here over the Chatham Islands, and it is a large system, fills the whole screen up, goes up to the tropics, goes down towards Antarctica. So this northern part of it is now dragging down a warmer airflow, and you'll feel that in the South Island, northwest winds picking up as we go through the middle of next week ahead of a cold front coming into the Tasman Sea. Still a couple of remaining showers around the Bay of Islands, but really most places are dry to begin with, but showers will return to the west coast, rain down around South Westland and Fiordland later on. By Thursday, now we're getting back into a messier sort of wintry weather pattern. High pressure is out to the east, which means much of the North Island may be warmer than average on Thursday. It'll be windy around Wellington, Waited Upper, some parts of Hawke's Bay. Heaviest rain or showers around Taranaki, maybe a possible thunderstorm in there. And colder weather comes back into the western side of the South Island. So there'll be a bit of west coast rain. Won't be a huge amount of wet weather around though once you go further inland. So the mountains won't necessarily see a lot in the way of snow. And by the end of next week, high pressure out to the west, west to southwest winds in many places, maybe a little more southerly here and there, and light winds at the very top of New Zealand. There is this large low pressure system in the Coral Sea. At this stage doesn't pose a threat to New Zealand, but in that location, once this high here moves away to the east, that's worth keeping an eye on, just in case it comes down and produces some wet weather or windy weather for us. But for now, our maps don't go out that far. Friday of next week, high pressure still around New Zealand. Here is the next 7 days rainfall. So areas in the blue here in the east, mixed in with the green, bottom of the scale, 1, 5, 10 millimetres, so pretty dry. West coast, however, the darker blue you see there surrounded by the purple, that's at the high end of the scale. So 150, 200 millimetres even possible through some of the alpine areas. Further north, Greymouth, Westport, those sorts of places, anywhere between about 60 and 100 millimetres. So wet on the west coast, driest on the east coast, and up here around Auckland, Waikato, Coromandel, Bay of Plenty, Taranaki, even going down towards Manawatu. Those areas are getting a little bit more of the wet weather because that includes some of the showers we're getting today, and of course some of those showers that'll be stuck up around the north there as well. And the far north, depending on how far those showers move around the Auckland area, it is also looking fairly dry up there too. So there we go. That is the forecast for the next week ahead. Have yourselves a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you again on Monday.